My husband synced his phone to my car and forgot. A woman's voicemail played through my speakers in a grocery store parking lot while my frozen food melted in the back seat. I was sitting in a grocery store parking lot at 8:14 on a Tuesday night when a stranger's voice came through my car speakers and told me everything. I'd just turned the ignition. The Bluetooth hadn't connected to my music yet, and in that brief gap, a voicemail began playing automatically, synced from my husband's phone, which he'd paired to my car months ago during a snowstorm, when he borrowed it and never disconnected. A woman's voice, calm and warm, like she was leaving a message for someone she knew well. Yesterday meant a lot to me too. I know you mentioned she's been suspicious lately, so I won't call tonight. Then silence. I sat completely still. The engine was running. My frozen groceries were in the back seat. I played it again, then a third time, then a fourth. Hands shaking enough that I kept missing the screen. She's been suspicious lately. She. That was me. I was the she. When I got home, my husband was on the couch, feet up, watching some nature documentary like the evening was completely ordinary. His dinner plate was still on the coffee table. His socks were on the floor beside it. The full, comfortable posture of a man who believed his night was going exactly as planned. I asked him who she was. He looked confused for a half second, and then, almost immediately, too composed. I don't know what you're talking about. Here is the part that still embarrasses me. I apologized before I even finished explaining. Something about his certainty made me doubt what I'd heard with my own ears. I said sorry, said maybe I'd misunderstood, started backtracking, and then caught myself and pressed play on the recording I'd made sitting in that parking lot. I watched his face while it played. What crossed it wasn't fear or remorse. It was something smaller and meaner, annoyance. Like I'd created a problem he now had to manage. She's a coworker. We kissed once after drinks. The voicemail sounds worse than it is. We had been married for 9 years. We filed taxes together, shared streaming passwords, had 2 cats, a Costco membership, and a bathroom drawer that had been broken for so long fixing it became a running joke. I had built an entire life inside our ordinary routines, and I had believed completely that he was living in the same one. I asked if he loved her. He said no. I asked if it was still happening. He said not really, and those 2 words settled somewhere in my chest and have not fully left since. It had been going on for nearly a year. I found out later, methodically, piece by piece. Hotel receipts forwarded to a secondary email, a charger for a second phone tucked under a floor mat in his trunk, lunches that ran 4 hours. The evidence wasn't hidden cleverly. It was just hidden from someone who wasn't looking, because she had no reason to. That's the part that hollowed me out the most. Not the betrayal itself, but the realization of how seamlessly he'd watched me live beside him, while knowing what I didn't. I thought about specific moments. Me bringing him soup during a flu he had right after a weekend he'd apparently spent with her in another city. Me folding his shirts while he sat 10 feet away texting her. The sheer ordinary texture of those moments, now completely recontextualized. I stopped sleeping well. I started driving around after work to postpone going home. I woke up most nights around 3, convinced I'd heard his phone vibrate. 3 weeks ago, he moved into an apartment across town. He cried when he left, harder than I expected, which made me angrier than the affair had. He kept saying he never meant for things to go this far. But nothing goes on for a year by accident. That's not a mistake. That's a series of daily decisions made while I was right there. The apartment is quieter now. Not peaceful, just quiet. I still set the coffee maker for 2 cups in the morning without thinking. Last week I found one of his beard hairs on the bathroom sink and ended up sitting on the tile floor for a while.